the NWF Champion Ace.
Pitts has called the match. For some strange reason, he's giving the victory to Kid Kelsey.
Mr. X declared the new champion.
The new champion, Mr. X.
He's won the title back. Get it back. Bring him around. Don't you Crossen, your new champion.
Oh, we're on the scene with Tank already. I think. Are we?
Yep.
I thought we had this other screen. Oh, there. You seen a sneak peek, guys? You guys weren't hearing me, were you? That was a sneak peek of our guest. He snuck in early. How dare he do that? Welcome to Wrestling Revolution, Keaton, everybody. And I'm just going to try to take care of this noise quick. And we are running off live in person, as usual.
In your normal place this time?
In my normal place. I'm not out doing a job, but I am having to take care of all this noise on my phone. There we go. And we are live, everybody. Wrestling Revolution Keaton, YouTube, NWF Wrestling with Crossen here, and of course this guy. And Keaton, before we bring Tank in again, and he was so, I just can't believe we came to that screen, but it's things happen. But we're here. And by the way, I'm not Tank, so don't worry about those socials beneath me. So before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday.
Oh, I'm happy to talk about what happened yesterday. The Canary Kid takes up another win against Ben Nelson. It's hardly a best of 3 if the Canary Kid can't stop winning. He gets Ben Nelson to submit again. Canary Kid is the best wrestler in Northern Ireland, and he proves it time and time again.
Okay, so I seen the footage, and what I seen was once again the Canary Kid taking, how shall I say, the low road. He's taking the cheap shot of going after Ben Nelson's bum knee, working the knee, and then making him submit on the bad knee. And he calls himself the heart and soul of NIPW in that big speech he made. You know what it is? It's heartless and there's no soul, if that's what you resort to. So he goes after the bad knee. A low blow, Keaton.
I recognize it. Now, you wouldn't understand this because you just decided to win every single one of your matches and become a 5-time champion because you run the promotion. But the Canary Kid has to use cheap shots. The Canary Kid needs to strike on what he needs to strike on. I've already explained to you. And the Next Level versus Dead Gorgeous match, they didn't win because John McCann had too much heart in the ring. Canary Kid is an in-ring veteran and he knows that he can't have too much heart in the ring. And he didn't. And that's why he's won this match against Ben Nelson.
Absolutely. I am cutting you off. That was a low blow. That was just a step above a sucker punch, which he did, by the way, to start the match. If you notice, the Canary Kid sucker punched Ben Nelson to get it going. And that was a closed fist, I might mind you. You know, when I'm reffing and I see that, that might be grounds for a disqualification. So he better be playing by the rules in the championship match. But Keaton, before you even start opening your mouth, I am putting I'm sure Canary was out celebrating last night with his big victory, but you know what? He probably thinks that he's got one more victory and he gets the NWF belt. Oh no. I'm afraid I got some bad news for you guys, and especially you, Keaton. If Canary Kid thinks that if he gets past Ben Nelson in the next matchup, and he's just going to walk in on June 1st and have me come 5,000 miles and hand the NWF Championship belt on a silver platter, that ain't going to happen. I've got a little contingency plan that we'll have set forth there. And if Canary thinks he's got it rough right now, his worst fear will become a reality if that's the way it goes.
Almost his worst
and
fear.
I'm just going to leave it at that. So the road to the NWF Championship for Canary Kid is an uphill battle, but nothing is handed over on a silver platter. That's not what's going to happen. I guarantee you that, Keaton. I guarantee you that.
For the health of Ben Nelson, you might as well just hand him the championship. I care about the health of Ben Nelson, and you saw what he could do to Ben Nelson, not once, but twice. In this championship match, he's going to fight harder than ever, and that's why you do not mess with the bird. That's why you do not mess with the heart and soul of NIPW, the OG BIRD, the Canary Kid.
Well,
and he's proven it time and time again.
But will he be able to prove the much higher mountain to climb if he ends up getting through Ben, which I don't think is going to happen.
Mountain, he's already done it twice.
You need to understand the reality of it. I'll be in Northern Ireland on June 1st. What I'm doing in Northern Ireland on June 1st may be yet to be determined. But I'll tell you this much. Ben, if he's out there watching, you just need to take a page out of Canary's book, young guy. You just need to start finding, Keaton, everybody has a weakness. Everybody has a weakness.
The OG BIRD.
And you know what? Canary's been exploiting Ben in every matchup. Ben, you need to fight fire with fire. And I'm not saying take the low road. Don't be a cheap shot like him. But you need to find Canary's weakness because he's got one. And you need to exploit it and use it against him. And you do that.
Good luck with that.
You get through the Canary Kid. I'm not going to say, of course, I know what his weakness is. I know everything, Keaton. I know what his weakness is, but I'm not going to say. But Ben, you'll figure it out. And honestly, as much as I'd love my contingency plan to take place, it's just a contingency plan. I still believe Ben Nelson will pull it off. I think he'll even up the score, and we'll still have our championship match as planned. But make no mistake, Keaton. Make no mistake, there will be a championship match on June 1st. Nothing is going to be handed over on a silver platter. I want to make that. Read my lips. I want to make that real clear. All right.
So
and we will just leave it at that. Now, what do you want? I'll give you the last word.
So you want to say that the Canary Kid isn't going to get handed the championship? If the Canary Kid rightfully wins the best of 3, he should be handed the championship. And of course, your cousin doesn't want that to happen. He won't want the Canary Kid to win the championship. If I were you, I'd want the Canary Kid to be winning my championship. He's the only guy that's ever brought that championship outside of Europe. And imagine what he could do to the NWF Championship if he can do that to the NXT Junior Heavyweight Championship. So just leave it at that. And I'm telling you, the Canary Kid is your new champion, no matter what way you want it to be.
There's one thing that the Canary Kid fears, and we know what that is. So, and we'll just leave it at that. What more can be said? So, we've got a guest to get with, Keaton. And this, of course, is, he's been with us before in NWF Forward. He's part of Pure Pro Wrestling. Tank the Beast Parker, and he's had so many. Just what a great story. And I know that, Keaton, we're bringing him in because it's Autism Month, and what perfect guest for that. So it's like
100%.
Let's and let's learn about. And I know you weren't on the interview that we had with him, that I had with him before, and then Of course, Big Mouth Canary Kid was with me on that one too. But uh, but yeah, so this is your chance now. So let's bring our guest in and we'll get started. We'll go to our screen that we were on. And here we are, Tank Parker. Welcome in, Tank.
Thank you.
Sorry for the banter. We had to get that off my chest, with everything that went down last night. But we had to take care of a little business there. But now it's all you. We're going to talk all about Tank the Beast Parker. Keaton, I'll let you get started right away.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased to meet you here, Tank. I've watched a lot of your stuff in Pure Pro Wrestling, and some of your moves are just so crisp and just so great in the ring, and you're a natural in the ring. So, how do you, from the start, what have you learned to kind of master these moves? Was it always this easy?
It was kind of hard, kind of not. With the autism part, it took a lot to understand at first, but once I got going, I understood more and more.
Yeah, and I was very happy to get you on here for Autism Month. Like you said, with autism, it'd be harder for you to understand some of the moves, maybe, and it'd be harder for you to understand. But you kept going, and that's what's awesome about it. What are some of the other struggles with wrestling with autism?
Talking in the ring, meeting with fans took a long time to where I can talk with fans. I wasn't very talkative at first.
And to be able to, and you were able to talk to the fans, and yes.
Yep, my dad usually used to be around to help. Now I'm just off by myself with fans.
And is that the Tank the Beast Parker hat I see?
Oh yeah, it's part of my ring gear I come out with.
Awesome.
So Tank,
And so you're
I was going to say, Tank, when Keaton, did you ask how long have you been wrestling for so far now?
I've been wrestling for. We found out recently. We had to go back and look. Been wrestling 8 years.
8 years. And how old were you when you started then?
class.
I think 13.
13. So basically your age, Keaton.
Yeah, that's my age.
Yeah. And 8 years later, here we are.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. And have you ever taken any breaks away from wrestling, or has it just been 8 dedicated years?
It's been 8 dedicated years. Even through COVID, I trained.
Awesome. And I know you named some of the struggles that are wrestling with autism, and I heard you mention they're talking. So, if say you're in the middle of a match, and you forgot a spot, and you had to like whisper one of the spots to someone, would you find that a struggle at the start?
Yes, I found that hard to do, but once I get going, for some reason it snaps in and I know everything. Once I
Awesome.
hit the ring, so that's
Uh,
one lucky thing with autism. Once I hit the ring, everything snaps into place.
and that is something with it. You know, there is you named there are a lot of the struggles, but there's also some very good things with autism and wrestling as well. You'd probably with autism, you'd probably be more dedicated to it than some other people because it's like your one big thing. Am I right?
Yep.
Hundred
This
percent.
is like my goal of life to be on big TV for wrestling.
And you, who were your idols growing up with wrestling?
Uh Brock Lesnar, uh Dusty Rhodes, and a lot of independent wrestling. That's how I got to know wrestling at first, was watching independent wrestling.
Class
Now,
and
do you guys,
Brock Lesnar.
this is a question for both of you. Do you guys find there's a difference between watching indie wrestling versus watching TNA, WWE, so forth?
Mm,
Oh yes,
Like,
in
like,
where
like,
in
what is explain it. What is the difference in your mind?
mine is you don't see as much backstage or promos like you see on TV where they're backstage talking or in the back area. It's more the wrestling and maybe a couple promos.
So not as much
Then
production.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Keaton, what about you?
For me, the difference in indie wrestling and pro wrestling, like with WWE and all, it's kind of like they've made some very good companies like TNA, bigger indie companies, but the companies that I wrestle in, like NIPW, you're right, there isn't much production, but there isn't much production with it, and like some of the stuff, entrance stages and all that WWE would have, maybe have a cheap curtain to come out of. But I believe that they put 100% more into it than a lot of the professional wrestlers do, and because they don't have all them deer lights, they try 10 times harder, and for what it is, they make it so good, and they always put 110% in.
Now, would you say the quality of wrestling in indies, like say Tank, for instance, Pure Pro, and Keaton for NIPW, do you think the quality of your matches is on par with WWE and TNA and et cetera, and the like?
I think WWE is a lot higher, but we're close. We're indies, but we're not on the level.
But
Won't be till you
but you
get
feel that you're entertaining for the value for the fans of
yeah,
what they're paying. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, for NIPW, I think that NIPW started off as NXT wrestling, and then I suppose when it turned into NIPW, it turned into like Northern Ireland professional wrestling. It actually did turn into proper pro wrestling in Northern Ireland, and I think they're the number one company in Northern Ireland now, and they've proven themselves. So I think with indie wrestling, you have a lot more to prove than WWE would. The risks are more high. Like if you go to a local indie show, they're not expecting you to be awesome. Whereas if you go to a WWE show, they automatically expect this is going to be incredible. So I think if you go to an indie show, the fans will always be surprised. And with NIPW, I think that they'll put in a lot more effort. And yeah,
That's just interesting. I'd just like to get a little conversation on that because, as we have indie guys on all the time, it's nice to get perspective. And, obviously we're all marks, we're all fans, right? Whether
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
fan of the old school stuff more so, you guys are a fan of more of the modern day stuff, but we're still fans, right? And we're always going to be marks, but it doesn't mean that you can't put on good quality wrestling yourself in the indie feds. So,
Mhm.
and hard work pays off. Tank, you're proof of that. So, I mean, you worked very hard to get where you're at right now.
Oh yeah.
absolutely, 8 dedicated years, and you've had some notable experiences in wrestling. I heard about you getting to Wrestle EC3, things like that, and being able to be in NWM, or it, like getting to try
Uh,
it for there.
NWA tryout and TNA tryout.
And how'd that go?
Those went amazing. All for the TNA tryout. It was Santino Marella. He said, "I would pay to
Awesome.
watch you." That's all he said to me.
He'd pay to watch it. That is incredible. And Santino Marella has been in WWE, an absolute comedy gimmick, and I would certainly pay to see Santino Marella. How did that feel after that? Did you feel like you got a lot more confidence when Santino Marella actually said to you that he'd want to pay to watch you?
It surprised me. You don't normally see them say that for the indie people they
No,
watch. Just
that's quite a compliment.
Incredible. And you were trained by Joe Bird, weren't you?
yes,
Yeah. So what was it like getting trained by this guy?
amazing. That I always thank him because he's the first person I trained with.
But I have a lot of respect for Joe just because he's one of the guys like Sean Hernandez that have given me opportunity to bring you guys on our show. Not every indie fed will get back to us, when we reach out to get guests, but Joe was one that did, and so I always leave that door open for your guys, anybody that wants to come from Pure Pro onto any of our shows, because we're always looking for guests. Keaton does a better job than I do, I gotta say. I mean, but look at, he's got Tank on here again.
I know. With Joe Bird, I know he's a very good coach. I've seen a lot of Pure Pro stuff. And after seeing you coming on and Pure Pro guys coming on, I'm just in shock that people at this age can do wrestling at such a high level. So there must be some way of teaching with Joe Bird that gets you at such a high level. Do you think maybe Joe Bird was Joe Bird understanding with your autism, and was he able to kind of help you narrow down the moves for you?
Oh yeah, he helped me a lot. Would take things slower a little bit.
Yeah,
So in
from what I remember too, when I talked to Joe and we talked about that, like he takes on these challenges of people like you. He actually it fuels him. It seems.
oh it does. There's a lot of juniors now in our practices, our junior practices. There's a lot more showing up now again.
Yeah. Keaton, I got a couple questions to bring in, comments and stuff. Let's start with Mighty Molly. Maybe that's your mom, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. She says, "Is there tank merchandise?" She's curious.
Oh yeah, there's we have shirts and custom made jewelry I make for autism. Dad, can you grab some if you can?
Custom
But
made jewelry, huh?
we
Custom-made
make.
jewelry.
I'll show you once my dad gets it. We have shirts and some other stuff. That whole
Okay.
box on right here is full of shirts and stuff.
And you do
Here's
pretty
my
well.
dad.
You do pretty well with the shirts and the merch.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It was 2 weeks ago or a
oh, look
week
at
ago.
that.
The whole couple
Class.
shows, I made over 700 in merch.
Cool.
700. Awesome.
Do you sell pictures and stuff too?
Oh yeah, I sell pictures. I got some older ones of me when I was in the juniors, but I got some new ones. This is
Oh,
my
look at that.
original logo I made long time ago when I first started.
Yeah, I remember the font you were using. Yeah, that tank font. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's even more so. I want to get some art for you, and that way you can make some art that you can sell in part of your merchandise.
Oh yeah.
Then we got another comment from Darren. Tell us about Pure Pro Wrestling. How many seats slash tickets are there at each show? So how many people pretty much show up at the shows at Pure Pro? Like, what do you guys have for attendance?
I know our last show had, because it was our big WrestleMania like show,
Mm-hmm.
had 1,500 people
Whoa,
Whoa.
those are some big
and
numbers.
1,000 pre-sales.
Wow.
That's crazy.
In our normal shows, I think there's like 200, right? You should 400 on our normal shows.
Yeah, you're just like our Anoka Armory shows.
This is one thing I made. That it's a autism keychain.
Oh,
That's
that's neat.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's made with fishing swivels. That one is what's the carat, Dad? 18 karat gold with that
Cool.
keychain. Here's another one. This is a bracelet.
Well, that's neat.
This is all for autism.
Yes, I sell it for support autism and stuff.
And it's for a
We
charity,
got
yeah?
kind of it helps me get to where I have to go for wrestling like down south because I'm from Michigan and that's a long ways from a lot of places down south where I train.
So it's just to help you get around all these places.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it helps me pay for my practices.
So Darren's got another follow up. He wants to know, do you help with setting up the ring and stuff? You know, like a lot of the guys are part of the ring crew just because it's part of the indie business. Do you ever help with that, Tank?
Oh yeah, we're taught to do that. We're not like big time legends or anything.
Right.
We always help with the ring. Carrying the
Exactly.
wood, the metal. Oh, that
And
stuff is heavy.
you know, it's funny you say that because I was talking to Nathan, their promoter over there, and you know, I'm coming over there to guest ref, right, for that match coming up for that title match, and I told Nathan, I said, whatever you need help with, you just let me know because I don't plan on sitting around the day of the event.
Awesome.
That's kind of how it works with, in the indie business. Everybody helps. You
Oh yeah,
there's no VIP like situation, right?
true.
So yeah, there was another necklace you brought, or that he was
Those
showing
were
us.
earrings.
Earrings.
Those were
Okay.
earrings.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Keaton, I got one more, and then you're off to the races again. So with your questions, do you raise funds for an autism charity at all? Is what Maya Revolution
Uh,
wants to know.
I do shows that do charity every year. There's one. What was it called, Dad? Dylan Autism Awareness Show. I'm
Okay.
a special guest they're bringing because I have autism, so it helps people. They donate a lot of money to their charity for autism. Then I was at this new indie show called Baptism by Fire, C1W. Uh, that they just did a autism show. It's raising for special needs and all different kinds of disabilities.
And then Mia just follows up quickly. She wants to know, can that autism jewelry be purchased online? Is there a way to get it online, or do you have to buy it at the shows?
Uh, right now we have to buy at the shows. I've been try to find a way to do online.
Okay, so you're just not set up
But
for online yet.
yeah.
Okay, but maybe in the future, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, Keaton.
Yeah, well, I like the sounds of the way you're raising funds for autism and the way you have this jewelry and stuff. So you're very proud to say that you're openly autistic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the I like to say I'm the first open autistic pro wrestler.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I think there's probably a lot of wrestlers out there who do have autism, but they might think that it's something that would hold them back from wrestling, and they don't want to be frowned upon. But do you want to find it? Would you say that you want to find it as kind of like your superpower or your main thing for doing wrestling?
It's like my superpower. I like to say it shows people with autism they can do their dreams.
Sure.
My one of my catchphrases are dream it, believe it, and you can achieve it.
And just on that note, with both of you, I mean, obvious, I mean, so you're both autistic, right? And but you don't want people to like say, "Oh, by the way, this is an autistic situation." You don't want to be like singled out like that. You want to be treated just
Yeah.
like a normal person. You don't need
Yes.
to have that label thrown out there. Do you ever struggle with that? Like, do you ever feel that people are maybe labeling you like that when you really just want to be treated like an equal?
Sometimes, like backstage, I try to talk with some guys, and I can kind of tell
Get the
they're
vibe,
like vibe. They're not like he has autism. We can't talk like when we talk with other people.
right? But and what I'm trying to say, guys, is they don't want that. They want you to treat them just like they're anybody else. They don't need to be treated with special gloves, right?
Oh yeah, we want to be
Yeah,
just like people who don't have autism.
exactly.
We're
I'll give you a perfect example. My fine feathered friend Canary Kid, he's autistic as well, and I treat him just like any other schmuck. I tell it like it is with him, and I treat him just like anybody else that I would consider a good old fashioned schmuck. Just thought I'd throw that in there. All right, Keaton.
And so, yeah, as you can tell, you're very proud to say that you're autistic. And but would you ever find that when you go to different places, that you maybe wouldn't want to flash it about as much, and you would maybe find that you maybe be frowned upon a bit, and you wouldn't want to say that you're openly autistic?
no, I like to say it because then it can show people that yeah, I may have autism, but I'm doing my dream. So I show like the fans or other wrestlers who may have a disability, they can do their dream. So I always have it open.
And were you always this confident about it, or did you ever lack in self confidence, thinking I can't do wrestling because of this?
At first, I was always quiet and not talkative, but wrestling helped me with it, getting talking more out and stuff.
Class.
So it's got you more outgoing and stuff than what you used to be.
Oh
before
yeah,
wrestling?
my dad used to have to drag me out of the locker room, walk with me and pass out cards I would sign to help me talk. But after a while, I started doing it myself.
Sure.
Would you say wrestling's helped you with that? Like, just as a person in total, not I know it helped you with your wrestling career and stuff, and help you be more confident in the ring. But do you find that even outside in adult life, you'd be more confident?
Oh yeah, autism helped me all. Wrestling helped with my autism. I'm more talkative everywhere. I'm more energetic, not shy.
And it must have been very hard to get like that as well. So it's awesome that wrestling's give you that.
Oh yeah, wrestling helped me with all my whole life. Got me out, got me talking with the fans, talking to just normal people and other things.
And before you done wrestling, was it ever hard growing up with it?
Yes, because I was always shy.
Hmm.
I was nonverbal,
Right.
so it helped me all around.
I think you froze a wee bit there, Crusher.
Yeah, I think I'm freezing. Keaton, I'm going to keep talking. I'm just going to back out and come back in to clear that up.
Okay. So,
All right.
before you were non-verbal, now you're very talkative because of wrestling, which I think is incredible. So would you give a lot of thanks for that and a lot of credit to Joe Bird?
Oh yeah, I would thank him and wrestling itself for helping me.
And what would be your most memorable moment in wrestling?
Uh, Getting to wrestle for one, but also train with Ricky Morton and train with the boogeyman Jimmy Valorant and all that. I'm thankful for them giving me a chance and and more.
Yeah, that's incredible. And would you ever say that I know Ricky Morton and I know you've trained Ricky Morton. We were talking about it earlier before it was on air, and you were training with boogeyman Jimmy Vallon. Would you say that uh, did they always accept you, or before did they think that you weren't going to be good enough because of your autism?
They actually accepted me. Once they first see me, they fell in love.
Awesome.
And have you come across other people that have been autistic in wrestling that you've run into in the business?
Yes. I'm not good with names. One is a military vet who wrestles and he has some disabilities. I met him down south.
And would that be the would that is that the only one you've seen, or has there been more?
There's been more, but I don't remember their names. I'm not good with names. That's one thing.
And you mentioned there not being it'd be harder with autism trying to get the moves right and find the sequences of the moves. What was the hardest move or hardest sequence to learn in wrestling for you?
Uh, I forget what it's called, where it's headlock, arm drag, hip toss. Those are my hardest moves to remember the order.
But you would say that you could probably do it pretty well. It's just remembering it would be the hardest.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
do it pretty well. Just it's hard time remembering stuff.
Okay. And I know there was rumors about Will Ospreay having autism, and there's been some other wrestlers. I think there's a guy called Steve Weiner who has had autism. So would you find any inspiration from these kind of guys?
I don't really know them. I haven't.
Oh,
I don't really watch AEW. I haven't got a chance to, but I did not know they might have. I did not know.
yeah, and I think you're the only open one because Will Ospreay, I think he does have it, but he just isn't very open about it. There was rumors, it wasn't true, but there was rumors that Finn Balor had it, but none of them are open about it. So I think it's so awesome that you're so confident having autism and being involved in the wrestling business with it, and and do you think that being in other companies that helps you a bit more and being able to say I have autism would make you like get in the other companies?
It helps when like these autism shows. They hear I have autism, they bring me in, and then like there's TV guys there who start talking to me, start getting to know me. At School of Morton, how do you say their names, Dad? The Costanzas? The Casanas. They're on NWA. Uh, a dad and two sons. I always hang out with them when I'm out there. They just love talking to me and do practicing.
So there's guys that just love talking to you, and it seems
Oh
like
yeah.
you've created a good mark for yourself in the business. And uh, even EC3 was commenting on, and Santino Morella said that he would actually pay to watch you. So you've made a lot of friends with so many famous wrestlers. But
Mhm.
is there ever been any trolls or bullies online or in the ring with you that knew you had autism?
Uh, online I had only one. I don't really pay attention because they're just people who like to hate. So I'm like I just ignore it, but I focus on the good mostly.
Um, excuse me, but I'll answer that question for Keaton when he mentioned this. He's asking if there's any bullies or anybody that's been hard at him in the wrestling. I can think of one, Keaton. I can think of one.
This guy, now, in
Yeah.
case you don't know, Tank, Canary Kid, remember from NWF Forward? Crossen
Hmm.
tries to say that the Canary Kid bullies me in training, but the only thing Canary Kid's trying to do, he's going extra rough on me because he believes that I can be better in the ring. So he'll maybe hit me with a chop, make a move maybe harder for a bump, but he's doing it for my benefit. It's nothing to do with him bullying me. So Crossen's got it completely wrong.
I just had to throw that in there. Anyway. Oh, comment here quick, guys. Just get this out of the way because it came in from Darren. I'm so glad you guys found wrestling, helping your confidence, talking, making friends, etc. Autism really is a special ability. So that's Darren commenting for both of you.
So now that you've been pretty successful in wrestling, what do you wish for your aspirations for the future?
To get on TNA, NWA, WWE, and big time, pretty much
So
on
you want to
TV.
be on TV somewhere, shape or
Oh
form. You
yeah,
want to be there.
oh yeah,
What is it? I got a question with that match you had for the NWA Championship, right? Have
yeah.
you gotten any? What was been the feedback that you? Because when we watched, it was very recent. That it just almost. I think it just took place fairly, recent from the interview we had with you. What's been like the feedback from that match?
Everybody loves it. Every time I go down south, people talk about it. It's one of my best matches,
Sure.
and I'm finding out I'm the first person to give him his own move, the one percenter.
Now speaking
That's
of,
what got.
I
Oops,
was gonna
sorry.
say, Tank. Speaking of moves, do you still do that Goldberg spear?
Yes, I do. I do another move too now. I do EC3s, the one percenter, but I do
Yep.
Mm,
another one that you don't see much. You know, Big E's big ending.
yeah, I've
Mhm.
seen it before.
Not many people do it anymore. I don't see it anywhere. So, kind of took it as mine, and I call it the big boom because you're going down with a big man, making a big boom in the ring.
Now you do the spear, but you don't necessarily do the jackhammer, right?
Oh no, I don't do the jackhammer.
No, no
I
jackhammer.
don't got the strength
Yeah.
to hold someone up yet.
I know
Working on that.
when we last talked to you, Tank. I know there was a conversation about somebody not handling it correctly on a suplex or something with you landed on your head.
Oh,
Um,
Oh yeah.
it was kind of
I
a
had
stinger.
two got two stinger I had two stingers. Uh one from the suplex and then from one person, and then the other one was the same person doing a similar move and I landed on my neck.
I know, like they
Two
almost like
stingers.
They're trying to do a suplex and turn it into a gourd buster, only they didn't do the gourd buster right. You landed on your head. But has anything like that happened yet again, or is that you've been pretty safe and clear from that kind of stuff?
Oh, I've been safe. I haven't had
Yeah,
no injuries in a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, Crusher, have you got one of them before? One of them stingers?
Yeah, I've had stingers. I don't necessarily remember 'em, but I do know what it feels like. Like you think you've really messed something up. I got one outside of wrestling. I was in Hawaii, and in Hawaii
Oh,
you go body surfing, right? It's fun. You just
oh,
body surf on the waves, and the thing that I didn't know because I'm not a local is you don't want to body surf right at the shore area because the waves
oh
crash
no.
down. So I'm body surfing in these really fun waves, and all of a sudden the water's going away. I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden this wave is behind me, and it picked me up and it pile drived me on the bottom of the
Oh,
ocean
Ooh.
floor. Yeah, that was a hell of a stinger. So the only thing that made that thing loosen up was when we got back to the resort. I went in the cold pool, then I went right in the hot tub, and that just loosened me up.
Yeah, mine was so
Yeah.
they say your neck acts like it's broken, but it's not. So it's like that much of pain. I was in the hospital for 2 hours each time.
Wow. And it's scary because you don't know what's going on until they do like a X-ray or MRI or whatever they got to do to find out what happened. You don't know what's going on, and there's that sense of did I break my neck? I don't know. Until you find out.
Hmm.
So that's why, it's just we got to be careful in this business. This is a very dangerous business when it comes to your neck. And
Oh yeah.
there's a reason the pile driver is pretty much banned a lot of places. Just because even back in the day, state athletic commissions banned it. For real. Back in
WWE's
the
banned
in
it
the
as
old
well.
days. Yeah, and the WWE banned it from that incident that happened with who was it, Keaton?
You talking about Kevin Owens?
Yeah, Kevin Owens, right? That was the one that sparked it, I think.
Yeah.
But no, back in the day, state athletic commissions would ban it as well.
Speaking of that,
So,
should we go in there and watch along now?
oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Let's get the watch line. It's the same watch line we had before. Hank, we're just going to show some of your footage.
Ah, okay.
So I'll bring the audio down a bit so we can hear and talk. We can keep asking questions.
So, who's your facing?
Uh oh. Mason Keller, the geek god. He's I haven't seen him in a long time. But this is a long time ago. I like to watch some of this long time ago stuff and see how much I changed and stuff. Old
Class.
gear, all old look, how I did my punches and other things. I got a lot slimmer, I know that. I'm still big round belly, but this is like, wow. Sometimes I lose like videos of me wrestling because I had so much. That how many wrestling matches have I had? You think you can estimate? About 400 or more.
Oh, awesome. Loads. And was this one of your early ones?
This was early, like four, no, 3 years in. Dad, do you remember how long this match was ago? Me versus Mason Keller. It was long, sad, shorts on.
Probably 15 years old.
I was 15 when this happened. That was actually 2 years in then, or 3. So this
Oh,
was way long time ago. I'm 21 now.
That was in Bay City.
That was Bay City, Michigan Bay City.
awesome. And the guys you get on, you would the guys who we get on the show, they always say that they don't like watching their old training stuff. It makes them kind of cringe. Do you feel that way, or do you feel that it's better looking at how much you've progressed?
It's kind of cringe and kind of proud when you look back and see how much you changed and evolved. Because you could see This is a long time ago. Oh, it feels kind of weird though at the same time. Not cringe, but weird watching yourself because it's been like this when I was 15, so a whole bunch of different stuff. I have new gear and new everything, so it's kind of crazy to see because I have like Vader's like singlet where it's all one piece.
Yeah.
I have that now. I look a lot more professional than I do there because I had a shirt and and shorts on.
Yeah.
And those are
Speaking of, go ahead.
my first ever wrestling boots. It's kind of crazy to see because I'm on
Yeah.
my third pair.
And
And if you,
when it was when,
oops, sorry.
that's fine. Go ahead.
On my boots, you can see there's a logo. It's kind of hard to tell. Now I use those. Those are boot covers I had.
Huh?
I don't use them for boots. Now I have them as like wrist guards, like warriors would have.
Mm.
Now, so that's cool. I reuse some old gear.
Awesome. So you would kind of reuse some of your gear to make it look a bit better.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
those boots I don't use, and the boot covers were custom made, and so we didn't have a use for them for a long time. They're in my gear bag, and I'm like, I want those, still use them, and have them for my wrist. And I just hit the Celtic spear on
Celtic spear.
yeah. I used to go
Class.
by Tank the Celtic Beast.
Hmm.
Sometimes I still do. This is another match. I want to see which one this is.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at your shirt that your dad was showing earlier, and I saw it said Tank the Celtic Beast. Um,
Oh yeah,
do you have any uh,
You there, Tank?
I'm there. I didn't I think he was frozen for a second. Can you say it
yeah,
Keaton?
again?
you're when you were from Northern Ireland, you have I saw on your T-shirt it said Tank of the Celtic Beast, and
Yes.
it would be a bit of an Irish gimmick. Do you have
Yes.
any family heritage?
Uh, my family is from Ireland and other stuff. Long time ago. My real last name is an Irish last name, and so this is actually a match at the guy in red uh has he had a seizure and had a thing that's Riley uh, Riley Townsend. If I think he was on this on the other podcast. If I don't, if he, I think he was. He
Was he
has bright. He has why he has headgear on. He has all of a sudden seizures. He was in a coma for a couple years,
and
and
he
so
still wrestled?
he comes back once in a while. He's going to school for other things. He's really good at the grappling.
Awesome.
He's
And how
really
long
good.
did you? Yeah. And how long did you say he was in a coma for?
A year or two, I think.
And he
But
still
yeah,
wrestled after it.
yes, he wrestled after. That's why he has headgear. This is after I think he had his happening to him.
And that just
The
shows that anyone can wrestle no matter what. And you've proven
oh
that, and
yeah,
it seems like Riley's proven that with him having the seizures. He was still able to get in the ring, and he's still able to do it. So anyone
oh
that's
yeah,
watching this, no matter what you have, if it's autism, no matter what it is, if you have seizures or whatever it is, if Riley can do it, and he had seizures, and Tank is a good example as well, anyone can do it, and you've proven that.
Keaton, what time is the video at right now, by the way?
Uh, 6 minutes, nearly coming up to 7 minutes.
Okay, I gotta get there. So it's 7 minutes, you said?
Yeah, it's now. John, exactly. It's now like it's 7 10 minutes. I mean 7 minutes 10 seconds.
So
Okay. I just had to
me
get in the
and the
same spot.
Guy in Wrestling, we are like one of the first junior groups of Pure Pro Wrestling, and the ref is actually a junior too. He refed and wrestled. I haven't seen the guy who refs. I haven't seen him in a long time.
No. I suppose people come and go, huh?
Oh yeah, I've been.
Yeah.
There's only like 3 or 4 that stick around, or some that come back. Me and Drake are like the ones that have been stayed the whole time, and so is Rally, but he had his comas and other stuff.
Sure.
That's awesome that he's still able to wrestle as well.
Oh yeah, I
And
can't. By the
Kevin,
way, those shorts I can't use anymore. So, cause they got ripping them. It had an American flag, and then we had the other side had my name on it. They were boxing shorts. This is when I was trying to find gear for cheaper, but this is it feels so weird watching old stuff.
Oh, tell me about it, Tank. How do you think I feel when I watch our early stuff? I mean, you're preaching to the choir. Man, and our early stuff is much worse than your early stuff, I'll say that.
and Kevin Meza, we know him from Titanic Wrestling. Asks, who would your dream opponent be?
Uh,
Yeah.
Dead or alive? Cause I have ones
Uh,
that are alive,
Okay,
and then there's some
both. Both. One that's alive and then one that's passed away.
one passed away is Dusty Rhodes,
Mhm.
and one that's alive. He's on TNA. He was from the Indies. His name is Jack Price. I watched him since I was little when he first began, and he's one of my dream matches to have because he was like one of the ones that inspired me to wrestle.
yeah, so there was him, and earlier I saw you mentioned that you're inspired by Brock Lesnar,
Oh
Dusty
yeah,
Rhodes. So
oh yeah.
you mentioned them guys who are a lot bigger than the average human. Would you say that you would get a lot of your moveset from these guys?
Yes, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and Dusty Rhodes. Nowadays, I do a lot of the Dusty jabs as my strikes.
Oh yeah, the bionic elbow is it?
I used to do the elbow, but I just do like how you punch in the ring. I do
Hmm.
jabs. Now I use
So
some other stuff that's like you don't see much. I use my belly as a strike. So I would grab their head and boom off my belly. So it's different.
awesome.
And then
And you
here's
would use
another
that actually.
comment. Here's another comment, Keaton, too, for Darren wants to know, do you train regularly?
Yes, once or twice a week. This is recent. This one right here we're watching is I think uh before my graduation at BWC. That's Jimmy Valorant's Boogie's wrestling camp. And the head coach is in my corner. We had a big old feud there. My last match that was there was my graduation match. It was against me and the head coach. Student versus teacher.
That's who that is in the green?
No, the one my head coach is on the bottom on the floor in my
Oh, okay.
corner.
In your corner. Okay.
Yeah, and the match was a three pinfall match, so I'd have to pin him 3 times to win, and that was the one of my best matches. Going down there to School Morton and BWC helped me a lot with wrestling. Learned a lot. Learned a lot of grappling from here, from Jimmy Valorant, and that's a 10-foot ring.
Yeah, that's small.
Super small. We learned, so what he told me and other people, if you learn to wrestle in a 10-foot, you can wrestle in any big ring, because there you have to step and straight away go. Like if
Right.
someone
must be
comes
so
in with
hard.
close. Oh, it was. And the ropes are
Yeah,
the
it's
tightest ropes I've ever wrestled with.
when you're used to a certain size ring and for the first time you go into a ring that's smaller, timing, everything becomes a factor.
Oh, yeah.
Like on different
This
sequences and stuff, yeah.
this ring you have to have perfect timing. Because when you go
Yeah.
off the rope, straight away have to go down if they give you something. And you
So Mighty
one
Molly's got a question for you guys, or just a comment. I just want to get this in, Tank. Tank, you truly are an inspiration. Well done on what you have achieved in wrestling so far. A fabulous ambassador for autistic wrestlers. Dream it, believe it, achieve it.
oh
So there you
yeah.
go.
Oh
Nice.
here.
Um,
So that vest is I added stuff to it. It's like old school. It has stars
There's
and
that spear.
here's the
Oh
vest
yeah.
that I'm
Tank
wearing
the
in
Beast
there.
Parker.
I
Yep.
got it made fixed up and made to look better.
Tank
Tank the
He's
just
wearing
Beast
cleared the house
Parker.
there.
yeah. That's it's funny. I found out while I was there. Oh, here's my I think EC3 match. Oh,
Yeah, this is going to be your EC3 match. Yep, it's whatever we watched last time, Tank. We just put it in again because Keaton wanted to have some footage.
this
So are you
one's
Nice
playing
my
the heel
little
role
favorite.
there?
What?
Are you playing the heel
Sorry.
role in the last match there?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Are you in the last match there? Were you playing the heel role?
I was playing the babyface. I
Oh,
actually
just because
never been healed before. So I'm always like the babyface to get the crowd going loved. This
I'm
was
gonna make this a bit bigger, you guys, because it was
this
kind of
one of
small.
my
There we go.
best matches.
yeah,
There,
I
is
I know
that
this
better?
guy as well. EC3. Yeah, that's way better.
Oh yeah. This is actually in the NWA books as an official NWA match. So
Oh,
Yep.
I officially face EC3 and almost by slight won almost.
And also, Tank, explain how the person that was going to wrestle him was picked that for this match. How did that?
So we were seen after the seminar. He was talking about everybody else who was more fit and more in shape, talking, saying this guy was good, this guy was good. The half owner of School Morton came up was like, you need to pick your opponent. As my dad and one of my other wrestlers from Pure Pro Wrestling came in, he said, by the bottom of my heart, Tank, and I was just frozen. Just
Out of
like,
how many people, Tank?
I think a 60 or 100, it's like way up.
Yeah, so out of 60 plus people, maybe more, Tank was handpicked by EC3 to be his opponent. That's quite something.
I can't
The
believe that.
sto-
What about?
the
Go
oops,
ahead.
sorry.
No, it's
The
okay. Go ahead.
story here, he's making fun of me. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, good
mocking.
job, mocking, and I don't know it.
Yeah, he's
You
mocking
didn't
him.
even
Yeah.
realize.
Uh, so I wasn't supposed to know he was mocking me. So that's how it went, and it was awesome.
And you know something?
So
Here's the thing. EC3 picked you, Tank, because of your abilities. Some people might look and say, well, he must have just picked him because of the situation. No, it was because of his abilities that you proved yourself in training. That's what
Oh yeah.
got you this match. I want to make sure that everybody understands that.
This is was
exactly.
my second tryout, and he said because I improved from the last tryout and I improved in wrestling overall, he gave me the match. Because I've
Right.
been improving, working really good.
Yep, you earn these kind of spots. Nothing's given to anybody, no matter what the situation is, autistic or not autistic. So
Hmm
you earn this kind of stuff, and Tank, you earned it this night for sure. You had to be on cloud 9 after this match, I would say.
I was just in shock. I was out of breath. I was like, "Well, I just wrestled him and almost beat him for the 10 pounds of gold."
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah,
He
and
couldn't get his hands around me for real. If you look, he's so muscly. He couldn't go around me.
And when I've watched EC3 when he was being in WWE. I've watched him when he was in TNA. No, not TNA. I've watched him when he was in the NWA, being the NWA champion, and that is incredible. That he chose you over 60 people, and he's an in-ring veteran. He knows what he's talking about. So that's just another point that you're like so good in the ring, and how much you've accomplished. And it just proves that anyone can do wrestling, autistic, whatever it is. So that's great to see.
Right,
So
and,
right,
and like just like you said, it doesn't matter what autism has nothing to do with it when it comes to your abilities.
this is
So
one of
it's
my
like,
favorite spots where they pie face me and stuff. So he this is the point where I start realizing he was messing with me, making fun of me, and he started getting more serious. Like, this kid's good, as in the story. He usually bumps the guy with those. He never usually doesn't let the guy bump. But this was special. He had where he bumps with it. He never usually bumps with that stuff. So it's kind of see a lot of firsts with me. It's a surprise.
and Tank, I believe this match wasn't it voted match of the year or something on one of the
So match of the year at School of Morton.
School of
That's
Morton.
a
Yeah.
really big thing.
Mm-hmm. It's another accomplishment out of this.
Oh yeah.
Just think of all the matches at School of Morton, and that one was voted match. This match we're watching was voted match of the year.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
That's just incredible, Tank. Incredible.
That's one of
I
my
know,
favorite
it's
spells
awesome.
where I hit the buckle and just fall.
Yeah. you got the
And
good facial expressions.
Oh yeah. This was crazy right
So-
here. This was on the spot. This part right here. Right here's
So you didn't even plan any of this?
only some of it. And most of it was at the ring. And this right here surprised me. He said, just lay there. Take it.
And going off script and doing things like that, that must take a lot of courage, and it shows that you're a true natural in the ring. Was it always like that, where you could just go off script?
Not really. I had to build that up. We trained, it's fully scripted, but now I'm more. I got more work on doing it, like right now, where it's like not planned in the ring.
I know
My
back
favorite.
like back in the day for us, we would plan spots. If I was in a match, I'd say there's gonna come a point where I'm gonna do a leapfrog series or whatever. I would kind of give you a heads up, but we'd never plan it move for move for move. So are you saying that you don't do that either now? You pretty much flow with it in the ring?
Some of it. Certain places have it where it has to be fully planned. Some places don't.
Yeah.
But one thing I took was a big boot to the forehead.
Yeah.
Full force from EC3, and it was like a test, seeing if I can handle it, and I did.
So it was
You
kind
don't
of like a
see
test
this?
from EC3.
Yeah, he tested me that day. It was a big time test.
That must have been one of your favorite moments in wrestling, getting to wrestle EC3.
There's that boot.
Right? Yeah, that was right in the forehead.
Oh, it must have been so painful.
It shocked me. It was like, whoa. But I dealt with it and kept going.
Yeah.
you could tell you don't need to be as mostly as EC3 to wrestle. Because I was in there, I'm chubby, I should say,
You're
and
big boned.
he's, yeah,
Yeah.
fluffy. There you go, fluffy. And I lasted with EC3.
Yep, you did.
Awesome.
And match of the year.
I call it, everybody has a circus look. We're not all the same, we're different.
Yeah. But, you know, like your coach, Joe Bird, has said, you know, when you're in this business, you're up against all different sizes and shapes, right? You could be a big guy, you could be a small guy, you know. In this
Oh,
day
yeah.
and age, size is irrelevant. You know, back in the day, you had to be a big guy all the time, but now you can be any size, and you have to be able to work with each other. Just like in this situation, you know.
Oh yeah, here's my dusty punches.
Yeah.
I love doing all the movements with my body. Show it
Yeah.
off more.
I'm loving this match. This match is awesome. No wonder it was voted #1 match. EC3 is
There's
such a good seller.
There was my
You know-
spear.
Yeah.
And,
And here's the thing, Tank. You're a big guy, and you're not gassing out here.
oh yeah.
You know, a lot of
It's
people would
rare-
gas out on this situation like this, a guy your size.
It's rare to see me not gassed out. I'm working on that. My cardio.
Well, I mean,
That's my-
you're holding it in this one, and it's been going on for almost 10 minutes, maybe more.
Oh yeah. I learned to take it very slow.
Well, this is
That
what
run
this is
around-
what rest holds are all about. This is what's taking a break. This is why you don't want to go full force the whole way through, you know.
That was another move I did, my spinning punch. And there's the EC3 move. You can hear in the back everybody was freaking out when I hit his move, and then he put his foot up at the perfect time.
Now, did he tell you to do it, or did you just do it? How did that happen?
Oh,
He told me to do it. I was like, whoa, first time. And now he told me to make my own version. of
I
the
didn't.
move.
I didn't think you'd be that bold to just do it without any kind of a prior approval.
Oh, yeah. He said to make my own version of it.
Sure.
But it's kind of hard to with wrestling moves nowadays. Come up with my own version. But I hit
But he was
his
okay?
move. I was going for my spear. He kneed me in the face. Did his own move back to me.
I like
was
how.
this
Look at
close.
how EC3's selling this. Look at this.
He-
Like he just
He
dodged a
was-
bullet.
Oh yeah, because at first he thinks he was gonna beat me. That's why he was like, "Oh yeah, you're doing good."
He hugs that
towards
belt
the
like he's
middle.
hugging a small child.
Oh yeah.
awesome. What a match.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Okay, now we're back to the beginning. So let's take ourselves. Why don't we get ourselves over to? There we go. Keaton, I got some comments to get caught up on.
Okay.
And I'm sure you got more questions. Have you ever wrestled over the border in Canada or Mexico, Tank?
No, I have not yet. Mexico is super far away from me.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
in Michigan, but Canada is close. But I don't know anything over there, so right
Sure.
now.
So not yet. And then Wrestling Insider says, what message would you give to someone with autism who loves wrestling but is too afraid or timid to join a wrestling school?
What I've learned with everything, you at least try it once. Because if you really want to do it, and if it's your dream, you dream it, you believe it, and you will achieve it. That goes back
Right.
to my saying.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, Tank. You know me with my story and how I started. I mean, I'm a firm believer in if you put your mind to it, you will make it happen. You know, there's two kind of people in this world. There's those who believe they're going to make it, and they will. And then there's those who doubt themselves, and they won't. So you know, Your worst enemy is your inner self. And when you doubt yourself, I've told Keaton this many times, and you're the only person. You look in the mirror. You are the only person that will stop you from getting to meeting your dreams. That goes for both of you guys. You know, I've said that 100 times, and I'm going to say it 101 times, right? Here's another question from Darren. This is awesome. Well done, Tank. Fabulous match. You should be really proud.
Thank you.
And then Scenic Spots wants to know, what is your signature move? Do you have one?
Ooh, I have couple. My spinning punch, the 1%er, and I'm trying to remember what else I have. I think that's it for signatures. I have finishers too. I have
Okay, and what do you got for finishers?
uh
The spear,
the
right?
spear. Once in a while I do a frog splash,
Off the
Frog
top?
splash.
top or medium. That's like very rare. And if you know Big E's big ending, I call it the big boom. And when I do it.
I was gonna say you should call it. You know, we used to, Steenerson, a big guy on our show. He used to do it off the top, and he'd call it the B-52 bomber.
Oh,
That's always a cool name. I haven't heard that one used yet. So yeah, because a big guys like you coming off the top, that's gonna be one heck of a frog splash.
oh yeah, I did it too. When I first did it on a show, there was 2 people laying on the ground. I did it too. 2 people at once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, have you ever done Tank? Have you ever done the move where you know the Midnight Rockers finisher move that they used to have, where one would suplex the other, do a cross body block off the top rope, and they'd
I
go
have not
into.
done that.
So I was gonna say though, I did it once where I did it as a double suplex. Now think about that. A double suplex, you got to clear
Ooh,
the other guy's head, right? Or else you're going to crush it. I never, we
ooh.
did it once. I had to get so much height that I thought I broke my pelvis when we landed we landed with each other. Yeah. Because otherwise I'm going to crush the guy. So I got to clear both their heads, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was just curious if you ever done anything like that where you're kind of like doing any kind of like, oh, you haven't been in a whole lot of tag matches, have you? Or have you?
I have, but we have not done anything like that. I recently done a a big boot into a backdrop.
Yeah.
That was fun to give.
Have you taken a back body drop at all? Have you ever done that bump?
Uh, no.
No.
I'm usually
I suppose
no
with
one
the
usually
stingers, you're kind of little staying away from some of that kind of stuff, right?
true. Plus, there's not many people who can support, even if I post, support
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the guys probably wouldn't, but if it was EC3 or something, I bet you could.
He probably could, but I don't think he would want to.
Yeah.
When I
How
was
big I am.
when I was watching one of your matches, I was in the watch along. I saw you done this big splash into the corner, and a bit of the post moved, like a bit of the ring moved. It looked like so cool and so awesome. Would that be part of your move set? Would that be something that you would use?
I do a lot of splashes in the corners, different types. I do one where I jump my back into them. I just run, just full on train, and all
Tank,
kinds.
have you ever had it though? Because with big guys, sometimes this happens when you hit those corners, either a splash or whatever. Sometimes the top rope will come off on you. Have you ever had that happen?
Ooh, not yet. Hoping not.
Yeah, if the ropes are too loose, sometimes that'll come. I've seen that, but yeah,
I'm
yeah, you
lucky
always
that
gotta.
hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's pretty harmless. Like you don't really get hurt because you're all in the corner and everything. You're pretty protected. It's just hopefully there's somebody around to put the turnbuckle back on, so you can
Oh
continue the
yeah.
match. You know, Keaton, have we got through the
Have you?
questions, or do you have more?
Well, I was just wondering when we were talking there. Have you ever jumped from the top rope?
Once or twice, but not
Yeah,
one
frog
on
splash. I
a
think you
show.
said right.
Yeah, like I did it only once on the show.
The second
Haven't
rope a
got
lot though, right?
second rope once in a while. I don't do much jumping
Yeah.
off rope.
Because the thing is, with the big guy, your style's different. It's not always going to be like a
Yeah.
high flyer. So bigger guys might have a different, Tank's style could probably be a little different, say, than a Canary Kid. His style is
Yep.
like in the garbage here. As I look down, compared to the beast Tank Parker, right?
Yeah, I'm more of a striker, old classic where they just beat you down. Once in a while I do big slams, but I'm more of punches.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's and that was pretty cool. So like what is the future plans? Like what's coming up in the future for Tank? Is there anything on the horizon you want people to know about or
Uh, I'm going more down south. I'm getting booked down south. I have a show in Alabama that I know of. I don't know the name of it,
that's pretty
but I
cool.
know I'm booked down there. I'm going to be going down south more to School of Morton and Jimmy Valorance. Try to go to Hernandez's school. That's a lot far for us, though. We're going to try to make it.
Yeah, we just had Officer Smalls on I don't know, a month ago, and we had him on for a second time. He came back on with us, and he starting to grow his hair long now. He's, but something, I'm sure Hernandez, would be looking forward to seeing you down there if you ever made it that way. So,
He's actually coming up here in Michigan to Peer Pro again.
oh, is he?
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
Whoa, that'd be a match I would like to see. So that'd probably tick off the bucket list. You've wrestled EC3, you've been involved with Ricky Morton and people like that. So, would you ever like to wrestle Sean Hernandez?
Oh yeah, he actually on one of your guys' podcasts talked about he wanted a match with me. I'm still waiting to find a place and a time to go against him.
And from what I've seen with Smalls and Hernandez, and you've seen it too, Tank, Hernandez doesn't play light with anybody. So
Oh yeah.
that'd be quite an opportunity for you, right?
Oh yeah. I'd
Yeah.
love to.
And then, as we get to the end of the show, Keaton, I do want to and I'm going to bring this up with Tank as well. And that is that I want to talk about what's coming up here. The NWF Championship match on June 1st with the Canary Kid and Ben Nelson. This is what's scheduled anyway. Now you heard, for those of you who missed it, just watch the beginning. You'll hear my little contingency plan that'll take. There will be a title match on June 1st. So make no mistake about it. And if you didn't, like I said, you can just catch the beginning of that. But Tank, my question for you, and I'm covering you up here. Let me kind of make this a little smaller. Whoever wins this belt, I don't know who it's going to be.
Canary Kid.
Would you ever be interested in getting a crack at this title by one of these two if we were to get them over here?
Oh, I'd love to. Bring it on. I would love to wrestle
because
for it.
I'll tell you something. That's the whole idea. We're rebirthing this NWF belt as it's a belt. It's a championship that doesn't belong to an organization. So here's a little behind the scenes talk, Tank. What that means for guys like you is that, like, as an example, if you're the Pure Pro Michigan Junior Cruiserweight champion, like Gloverfire Drake, chances are if he goes to another indie league somewhere or whatever and defends the belt, chances are the belt's staying with Drake, right? It's the other company's belt. Well, this belt, anything goes. That belt can change hands in another promotion. That's the whole idea. So that's why I bring it up to you, Tank. If you'd ever be interested, if that would ever come to your way.
I'd love to.
Because I think you could handle. Honestly, Keaton, I think Tank could take these two on in a handicap match, as a matter of fact, and probably win that belt.
I'll double spear him for the 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I mean, yeah. You know why? Because a couple things. We're talking to American made the Tank, and of course I'm from America, and I have to support my American friends. But secondly, I mean, he's been in the ring with EC3 for crying out loud. So if he survived that, What do you say to this, Keaton? What is your take?
I mean, yeah, it'd be an incredible match to see the Canary Kid versus Ben Nelson. Of course, I am a bit biased. You know, I'm a Canary Kid fan because the Canary Kid's from NIPW, Northern Ireland, so I want the Northern Ireland man to win. But yeah, it'd be an incredible match. Tank uses his strength and power. Canary Kid uses his athleticism. It'd be an incredible match to see.
And hang on, Keaton. I'm just going to bring this out because we've seen that. We know that's coming up. There's a comment here that Darren says, Tank and Keaton versus Ben and Canary. Well, first of all, I hate to break it to you, Darren, but with the way them two have been getting along with Ben and Canary, I don't think you'll ever see that tag team combination.
No, definitely not.
It would flop. It would change places.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, I think what's more likely here would be Keaton and Canary to take on Tank and Ben. And because, the bird worshiper over here, I think he would probably go that route. And then he would get yelled at and scolded at by Canary when they lost, because Canary, even if it was Canary's fault, he'd blame it on Keaton.
No, he wouldn't.
It's never Canary's fault. It's never the bird's
It's not
fault.
true. You think that because John McCann cost him the match, you think that Canary Kid blames it on everybody else. But when it's Canary Kid's fault, the Canary Kid will own up to it. But it's
I
never the
wish we
Canary
had the
Kid's fault.
footage. I wish we had the footage so Tank could see it, and then he'd make his own mind up. Yeah, what happened, Tank, is Canary cost the match, and he blew it. And now the tag team, I don't even know if it's a tag team anymore. Who knows?
What
But,
Canary Kid done was try to capitalise on what he needed to capitalise on. John McCann didn't like that, and that's what cost him the match. When it was a singles match between Ben Nelson and Canary Kid capitalised what he needed to capitalise on. No one was there to talk him out of it. He done it, and he made Ben Nelson submit.
Yeah,
So he cheated.
he cheated. He did a low blow.
He didn't really cheat. He just capitalised because the referee let it happen, so it was obviously
It's
fair.
a step above a sucker punch. I mean,
referee
what
let
are we
it happen.
talking about? Apples and oranges here. There's not much difference. They're both fruits. So
I've had that happen a lot. I had an old tag team partner. He betrayed me. And then
yeah,
I had people holding my foot when I'm going for the spear. Managers.
yep. Anything to get an advantage, and anytime you have
Oh,
to, the way I call it, Tank, it's taking the low road. Now you can keep taking shortcuts all you want here in this business, but you know what happens when you take shortcuts all the time? Eventually, you have shortcomings, and sooner or later, Canary will have his.
It will always catch up to you.
You see, and I say all this, Tank, because back in the day, Crusher Crossen never, ever, ever did any shortcuts or cheap shots or low blows.
I think I've watched some of your footage, and it seemed like Crusher Crossen had some heel moments himself, the promos that he cut, and some of his cheating that he done. I've saw matches with Kelsey. I've saw loads of different matches, and I've seen Crusher Crossen cheat his way out of all these matches.
If
So
you're
he
referring to
cannot
that title,
disrespect
if you're
the Canary
referring to
Kid.
that shoot title match, the referee's job to tell me to break it. If he's in the Tank, let me give you an example. You got your opponent grabs the ropes. If the ref don't tell you to break it, you don't break it. You wait till the ref
True.
tells you to break it.
True.
Nice try, Keaton.
That's why they have a 5 count. That's why they have a 5 count.
That's why they have a 5 count. And the ref's job to do that, not mine. Am I supposed to just break the hold because I feel like I don't know he's in the ropes. I don't have eyes in the back of my head.
Slow down, Crusher Crossen. I wasn't talking
you're getting me
about
all
that.
riled up. You're getting me all
Exactly.
riled up.
And I wasn't even talking about that. Before you go on a full rabbit hole of this, that, and all this. So I didn't even do nothing. If the referee doesn't see it, and you're getting all riled up. Like, I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about in the past you have cheated your way through matches. You have disrespected people. Your promos work, your heel work. So you cannot say anything bad about the Canary Kid because the Canary Kid didn't cheat. What the Canary Kid done was capitalize on Ben Nelson's sore knee. So you can't say anything.
Well, Tank, when you saw Canary Kid when he was with us on Forward, he was a little more timid. Now he's become this just loudmouth that thinks he's better than everybody else, and he sits there and disrespects me, is what it is, and that's what's happening.
You disrespected him first.
If he ever gets in the ring with me, I don't talk.
You do your talking in the ring, right, Tank?
True. With these.
Yeah. Yep. And who knows? Maybe that'll happen sometime down the line. We'll get Joe to book a spot and get Canary over there, and you have a title match for the NWF belt, and maybe that belt comes over here if it's Canary. Who knows? I mean, it might be Ben Nelson that gets this belt. I'm
Uh,
starting to Keaton saying, "Oh, Canary's going to get it. Canary's going to get it. Canary's going to get it." We don't know that, so we'll have to see what happens.
He might
exactly.
cheat though, like he's been, like I'm hearing. He
Well,
might
it's
cheat.
true. But Tank, if Ben beats him in this next match, they're doing a best of 3. That means I will be reffing that final match, and I'll guarantee you this: there won't be any shenanigans going on. There'll be no cheating going on. If Ricky tries pulling any of that, I'll disqualify his rear end. So that's what's going to
Exactly.
happen there.
Exactly. If Ricky does anything, you will disqualify him. If Ben Nelson does anything, you turned around, you didn't see it.
Ooh.
I don't know. What do you make of this, Tank?
I think you should cut it down the middle. Fair.
Oh yeah.
Make it fair.
And that's what I've been saying all along. I'm going to call it down the middle. It's this guy. It's this guy over here that keeps saying I'm going to be impartial. I won't be impartial, right?
Talk is cheap. Crossen runs about saying, I'm going to put it down the middle. But all we're hearing is Crossen disrespecting the Canary Kid. On the very first episode of NWF Forward, it was a polite young man you met. And he's always been a polite young man.
Yeah.
But you have disrespected the Canary Kid.
Yeah, what happened?
Now,
what happened to that Canary Kid?
Because
Very
you
first
disrespected
one
him.
that came on was very respectful, just like Tank.
Because you
And
disrespected him.
Never seen him since. By the way, Mighty Molly says, sounds like the Low Road Crusher. Is this the same Mighty Molly that thinks Ricky's going to toss me around in the training session? We'll see about that, Molly. Yeah, I'm going to do when I go over to Ireland, I'll be at the kids training session, junior training, and Ricky's there as well. And she thinks Ricky's going to Tank. Do you see anything in these eyes that's going to let the Canary Kid toss me around in some training session? Anything.
You're too big. You're too big.
Exactly.
He's skinny.
He doesn't know what he's getting his hands into here. Just
You'll
like
maybe not let him. You'll maybe not let him, but maybe he'll have no choice. Once the Canary Kid gets his hands on you, he will capitalize, like what he done to Ben Nelson. Made Ben Nelson submit. Maybe he is skinny, but that guy can wrestle. And if you get in the ring with a Canary Kid, God help you, Crossen.
I would pick the Canary Kid up and I'd press him once, and I would press him twice, and I would throw him like a missile into the crowd, is what would happen to your fine feathered friend. By the way, Darren says on this, Tank will tank him. Yes, Tank will tank him. I like that. I gotta say. And then another comment, Darren says, Tank, have you ever been injured or hurt? Have you ever been injured or hurt anyone for real? So we know you've had some stingers. Mm-hmm. Have you ever hurt anybody at all, though?
I never hurt anybody. I've actually got hurt from jumping off a stage. By accident.
You hurt yourself?
Doing an entrance.
Ankle twist or something?
So I was walking to the ring. The ring had like this much. They had stairs and it was this much down.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped down. I did the whole entire match. When I got home, my leg was no go. It was I heard it. I was on
just swollen crutches.
Up. I think it was sprained.
Oh, sprained ankle.
It was more the knee.
Oh, right in the knee. Okay.
Yeah. So it was already on my bad
so you
knee.
You kind of did it. You kind of did it to yourself. Then is what you're saying.
Yeah. I actually got 2 kneecaps in my left knee.
I think we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't grow together as one. So.
Yeah. Keaton, do you still have any burning questions, or have you gotten through all yours? Because I'm caught up in my comments.
Yeah, well, I only have one last question for you. So for anyone that wants to, just to promote you a wee bit here, so if anyone wants to get tickets for or any merchandise from Tank, where can they buy their merchandise?
So my merch, you would have to come to the wrestling shows.
For now.
I don't
Yep.
for now. I don't have an online store. I want one and stuff.
And then when you do get something going, I'd imagine it'll be announced on your Facebook page here.
Oh, yeah, it would be on my Facebook page and my dad's Facebook page.
Okay. So yeah, so stay tuned there for that. And Wrestling Insider does have a question. Do you have mats or space at home to practice roles and stuff?
So I live like 5 minutes away from my training center. So
So if you want to
once
practice, you
practice, just go there and ask.
is it
But
open?
there's
Is it available all the time to you guys, or do you have to go certain days?
certain days, but you can ask if you can use it.
Okay.
So it's Mondays there's no practice and the weekends there's no practice, but the other days there's like one that's from 7:30 for an hour or two, and then the other days are like 6:30 for beginners, 7:30 for advanced, and it's the opposite on the other day. So there's certain days that are different.
Now, if you do, I don't know, maybe you don't do this, but let's say you're going to work a match with somebody, and it's maybe a bigger match, so you want to work it all. You want to kind of maybe work through it a little bit with that opponent. Are you able to go in and work things out, or is it just something you do on the day of the show?
The day of the show normally we get there early. We wait till we know who we're going against. And so like the whole time like matches going on and stuff, we talk about our match, what we want to do and what we're going to do and what they want.
Okay. And then obviously the finish.
Oh yeah. Oh, this
Yeah.
recent match I had was fun. He cheated a couple times. I lost,
Was it the Canary Kid
but
by
I got
chance?
No, it wouldn't have been. The
oh
Connecticut doesn't cheat.
Because you mentioned, I heard
so
cheating. I heard cheating.
I was going against my old partner. Me and him are having a feud right now. I was with my partner, so I was in the ring. I hit a big move, tag team move. 1, 2. My old partner pulled me out of the ring. He went to throw a punch. I blocked it, punched him. He went to the barricades. My dad was there, slipping a coffee. He took it from my dad while I'm not looking. Drinks a little. When I turned him around, the coffee went all over my face. And they were mocking me in the match, drinking the
Oh,
coffee
was
while
that hot
wrestling.
coffee by chance?
Oh yeah, it was hot
Oh, that
coffee.
must have burnt.
Oh, and then the ending, my old partner's partner was about to get suplexed, but he got hit with brass knuckles from the guy he picked up, and boom, they cheated for the finish.
So you
I'm
know
always
something?
getting
Were those real brass knuckles, by the way? Like
yes.
legit? You know, I'll tell you, the reason I ask is I'll never forget watching a match between Rocky Johnson, The Rock's dad, and Rowdy Piper. And Piper used brass knuckles. And at the end of the match, the camera zoomed up on Rocky Johnson's head, and he had a big goose egg from those brass knuckles.
Oh,
Piper tapped him.
oh.
So that had to hurt. I just, that's why I always wonder if in today's day and age, if they have like rubber knuckles or something, just so you can eliminate any kind of unaccidental, you know.
They were real, I think. I didn't take it at least. My partner
Yeah.
did. He's his name is Gideon Malice. He was on NWA long time ago. So
Because
I
like
had
obviously, I say this because like remember the bat, remember Sting with the bat. Well,
oh yeah.
obviously that was not a real, it was obviously a rubber bat or whatever, you know. So it always makes me wonder if they had things like that for knuckles and stuff too, nowadays.
Hmm. I don't I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Do you guys do a lot of do you use chairs a lot, Tank? Do you ever get the folding chair and hit somebody at the chair and do anything like that?
I I haven't. I don't use weapons in my matches. I'm not a fan of the hardcore.
Well, I'm not
Same.
saying hardcore. I'm just saying like an occasional
Oh,
chair usage, not an outright hardcore match. I'm not a fan of that either.
No.
I haven't used weapons in a long time. Long time ago, I had one at a fair. We did kendos and chairs. Simple. It was a 3-man tag team. So there's 3 people on each team.
Back when we had the kids, more of the kid, when we were more kids wrestling, with the chairs got so out of hand that I had to initiate an automatic disqualification if you use the chairs because too many people were using chairs. So we
yeah.
had
It's
to
probably the,
actually have that as a actual rule.
it was probably the time ECW came around.
Well, it was way before that stuff. This was back in
Oh,
the 80s, but yeah, it was like the chairs were just getting out of hand. Too many people were using them, and somebody's going to get hurt.
hmm
So Scenic Spot says this as we're kind of getting to the end of the show, on Keaton.
Yeah.
Thank you for making us more autism aware through this show. What is the most important message to take away? What is the most important message to take away about autism? That's the question. What's the most important message to take away?
that we're normal people. We have to learn it in a little bit different way, but we're the same as everybody else.
And that you want to be treated as such.
Such, yeah.
Yeah, like don't treat them differently. Like if you notice in this conversations I've been having with you guys, I'm talking to these guys like anybody else. That's how they want to be talked to. So they don't want to be looked at weird and stared at and awkward moments. So, right. So Keaton, did you get to all your questions? Was there any more?
Yep, I got everything.
All right, because you usually ask that one question. What would you give a somebody up, going through training? Because I'm sure Tank could answer that for you too.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I would ask that one because of the quick comment that came in. But yeah, I would like to know what advice would you give a young trainee wrestler that's starting out in wrestling?
As Keaton's going through training.
Basics. Don't focus on the moves themselves. All the if you want to be a big time person on the show, basics, character work, selling.
Yeah, selling.
That's
Do you guys go over selling much, Keaton, in the training?
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of people think when you're in training, the selling doesn't matter, but when you get to a match, the selling will matter. So even though you're in training and people don't really care about the selling at that point, we always get taught like do your selling. So when before we would have a thing like where we would get down on our knees and we would take a bump and then we would sell it just to learn how to sell properly. So we would learn all the basics about selling and
Right.
the basics about bumping and things like that.
Because like back in my day with Eddie Sharkey, his big thing, his famous 3 words were "make it believable." So in other words, if I'm gonna do a haymaker, or if somebody's gonna haymaker me, and I'm gonna take a fist or something to the head, I'm gonna throw my head back, and I'm gonna make it look. I may even land on the back of my shoulders, make it look like he just walloped me. Make it like I just got nailed, right? Make it believable. Really sell it. Not just too many guys get hit and they just, they just move a little bit and they move a little bit. And then depending on, if you're a guy like Tank, yeah, you can do that. If you're a small guy and you get hit, you got to make it look like you just got walloped, right?
Oh
You got to
yeah.
make the
Definitely.
situation believable. So I'm a big advocate of that.
I've been taught like if you ever got punched for real, you're not just gonna stay in there. You're
Right.
gonna fall or
Yeah.
actually move away.
People that don't do that have never been in a fight. Or have seen one. So it's like, yeah, if you get hit, you're gonna go down. You're gonna make it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's what Eddie always used to say. Make it be. Eddie didn't care how pretty it looked. He didn't care where your feet were positioned properly, or was it pretty picture perfect? Was that bump perfect? He didn't care about any of that stuff. He just wanted to make it look like you got clotheslined or you got, and it was, because back then the idea of Tank was, and Keaton, if people know this is fake, they're not going to show up anymore. That was their thinking. So that's why he was such a big advocate. All the old timers were big advocates of that kind of talk. Like you got to make it really convincing.
hmm
So
It still is kind of nowadays. People know it's scripted, I should say. And so you have to make it actual believable still.
right. Well, no, and
Super
now
believable.
exactly but people might know it's scripted, but they want to see really good quality that lets them go into that imaginary land where they don't know it's scripted. that they think this
Oh
is
yeah.
they for that 10 minutes of that match they believe it's real again.
Sometimes I get
Yeah.
tricked at practice. Someone's selling so good. Like you do a move and they're selling so good. You're like, you okay? You okay?
It's funny you mention that because at our July card, but we had a wrestler as a Russian bulldog butcher. He's in the main event, and he got hurt out there, and he was planning on getting out of wrestling and just do the commentating. That's what he wanted to do. But he didn't tell me he was going to do this. Anyways, he got hurt, and then the guys come in and goes, "Sean, you got to get out there. Troy, he's hurt. He's hurt." And I'm like,
Oh no.
"Holy shit!" I went running out there. A bunch of us. I went down to Troy. His name is Troy. I said, "Troy." He goes, I'm fine. I'm just selling. I said, "You son of a bitch." Gave me a heart attack. I said,
Well, there's
when we got back, Tank, I said, Troy, I said, next time you do something like that, give me a heads up.
we had practice where someone's very good at selling. We're like, "Are you hurt?" He was like, "No." I'm like, "You got me." That's if you could get other wrestlers think you're hurt, you could sell.
Yeah. But that's fun. And I always, for me, that was the funnest part of this whole thing was selling. I enjoyed selling more than being offensive with my moves. I also loved the cheers
The-
because I was a face, but selling was fun.
That's the entertainment part. The selling, character work, that's my favorite too.
Yeah. One thing I will say for the bird worshiper here, the one thing Canary has on me that I can't touch him on is he's got a much better promo than I ever had.
Yep.
His promos are really good, and not that mine were bad, but I just wasn't as good of a talker as he is. But if you notice, he's a great talker. He's a great talker. But Tank, and I know you don't do the drop kick, but Crusher Crossen's drop kick, picture perfect. Canary, he's getting there. He's getting there. But
You heard what I
I do.
said.
I've been working on shotgun drop kick. I got the hops for some reason when I do that.
so shotgun
Don't-
drop kick. How's this one go? Because I probably know it. I just don't realize it's called that.
So you're standing, you
Yeah.
jump up, you push your legs out, and you just back bump.
Oh, the back bump. We'd call that like a bunny kick or a kangaroo kick. Yeah.
I call it the shotgun because
Yeah, there's
guy
many
doing
names. Right. So you've
Well,
been doing that one, huh?
Yeah, at practice. I found out when I went to school in the morning. I used to never be able to get up.
Right, and
For
do it.
some reason, all of a sudden now I got the hops and just I did it and I hit it perfect. I'm like, how? I don't got the hops.
Well,
I'm a big boy.
I don't know. Depending on your ring, sometimes you can use the ring to help get you that bounce. You can bounce the ring a little bit to get you that extra height. But doing the drop kick is it's very interesting thing because once you get that jump down and you get like you've just done yourself with the what do you call it again?
The shotgun drop.
The shotgun drop kick. I want to use your terminology for you. But yeah, once you get that jump down, then you're like, damn, I can do this. And it's like you just can I'm doing it again. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna keep working the height, and I'm gonna get higher and higher, right? And that's how it goes.
Yeah. What's crazy is I can do it from just standing. I can't do it from like walking up, jump, and then hit it.
So you can't
I can
move
do
or
it
run.
from So I just have to do it standing. When I do it standing, I got up to the guy who's like I think 7 or 6 feet. His chest is way high. I did it. I'm like, how did I do that? Because I don't. I'm a big guy. I don't have the hops like I should have right now.
Right.
But I did it. I was like, I used to have guys go to their knees and do it. Now I can do it to their chest. I'm like, perfect finish for a big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've told this before, but I used to practice my drop kick in Eddie's gym because he had a traditional boxing gym. He didn't have the ring set up; it was just wrestling mat pads everywhere. But he had punching bags, those big punching bags that boxers use. And I would have my friend hold the bag, and I would practice my drop kicks on that, marking my height. But it was never a picnic landing on those wrestling mat pads doing any kind of a drop kick or anything like that because you don't have any extras. No, there's no support of the ring there. But
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but that's a good way to, once you get used to falling, you can, as long as it's not concrete, I could do a drop kick, bump on that, but concrete would be tough. But
Actually, my first promo I did was I was giving people were talking. They were talking like, "Oh, this new kid," and I would spear someone out of nowhere. My last spear I gave to someone in the promo for the end was this guy was talking like, "Oh, the short tank." He was like that, and then out of nowhere, we had like, you know how ice arenas have like the grass they put out on the field where there's instead of ice.
Yep.
The guy wanted me to give him a spear on that. I'm like, ooh, because it's hard.
Right.
And
It's
so
like
I did.
AstroTurf. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that, and I was like, ooh, you're crazy for taking that. I speared him on that.
The
When
other
I was
thing,
younger,
I was going to say, the other thing that's tough is nobody's probably done this to you, but I've taken a body slam on the concrete, and this was back when we were still wearing socks, so I didn't even have my boots to help with
Oh,
that. So I just landed with my ankles on the concrete.
that's not,
Uh,
ooh, that would not,
Steve
ooh.
Steve didn't tell me he's going to do it, but to Steve's credit, he carried me down a little bit, so I didn't take the full slam, but still, it didn't know it was coming.
I haven't taken anything on the outside yet, but the post or the ring mat.
Yeah. Yeah, and the post I would say I'm sure somebody threw in the post. That's pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys Keaton, in your training, do you guys go over like that kind of stuff, like getting thrown out of the ring and the acrobatics of a match, like, getting thrown out of the ring or going into the post or getting your head slammed on the ring apron? Do you go over any of that kind of stuff?
no, not really. We're still more doing the basic moves
Just the
and things like
basics?
that. So we're not really doing much match type things. We've been doing we've done a tiny bit of character work not so long ago. So we're learning a bit of character work and a bit of like healing face work, and we've been learning tag team kind of matches, what kind of stuff you would do with that.
Right.
But had like a full week of just had one of the week sessions of just doing tag team match where like we bring in DD Crooks, Nando Libre, Sage Valentine, Stevie Fee, and people like that, and each person like picked their tag team partner, and I wanted to be a heel, so I was with Dee, and they were so then we were learning Dee, and like everyone else was teaching us how to do like proper tag team wrestling.
Sure. Yeah, because tag team has an art to it. I mean, some teams like to do the quick tags in and out, in and out, in and out, which is cool. There's different ways, to do it. But no, the reason I asked that is because that will help you in other things. Just learning how to get thrown into the ring post and taking a shot on the ring apron and stuff. That's going to help you in the ring too, doing those kind of bumps. So that's why I asked that. If that's that you think like, well, why do you want to learn this? Well, you do, because eventually when you get in a match, this kind of stuff's going to happen. So, and you don't
Exactly.
want to do it
WWE.
without, training on it.
WWE, they'll always on the outside. They hit you on the ring post.
Yeah, it's
I
part of
noticed that.
professional wrestling, right? Yeah.
I should say it's a basic outside the ring move.
Yeah.
Because
And you need to,
WWE. Oops, sorry.
no, I was going to say, you need to learn that stuff. That's all part of a match. So it's like, and I'm not criticizing you guys, Keaton. I'm just saying that eventually you guys are going to want to learn this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, especially when you start having these these opener kid matches and stuff that you've been doing. You kind of want to learn some of that stuff and make it go a little bit beyond just the basics. So so you can carry that with you,
Yeah,
into
exactly.
the, now Scenic Spot says, the Irish whip, we got into a big debate about this. It's the Irish whip. Now, I don't know why it's called the Irish whip. I don't know if Ireland invented this thing, but I'll tell you one thing that I'm kind of getting tired of. And maybe it's just me. Tell me if it's just me. But you newbies, you new guys, you always do the stomp your feet and throw the guy, right? You're going to Irish whip, you're going to stomp my feet and then I'm going to throw him, right? And I get it. You're trying to make it look like you're throwing him, right? But I think it's kind of like too many super kicks in a match. When you do it like that every time that way, it gets to be almost predictable on the way. Like, why is he always doing that? You know what I'm saying? Is it just me? Am I being too critical with
I
the
think it's just
Irish
you.
whip? Or because can't you just back him in and do a normal Irish whip without doing the foot stomp?
There's many different ways. Down south, I noticed they do it all types of ways.
Yeah.
Mine, I heard a drop back and then open up when you whip.
Yeah, because that's well the way we did it. We'd always typically I would back you into the ropes and then I would throw you wherever I'm going. Right? That's how we would normally do it. Now there's been short Irish whips where you just grab the guy and just throw him, too. But have you done it in
Then
all
there.
different ways, Tank?
So what I learned is when you get the guy, you push him against the rope, you jump back and then open up.
Right. That's pretty
So
much what
there's
I
a little
do.
bit, so pretty much more steps to it
Yeah, he's
than
gonna.
when just pushing off.
Yeah, yeah. Give yourself some, and it kind of it gives it a bit of nice theatrics when you do that as well. It looks
Oh
like
yeah.
it's flowing good, right?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Keaton. I just had to talk about that because somebody mentioned Irish whip, scenic spots, and I see your comment. He says it's just me. It's well, did it go away or do you have it up already? He says it's just you.
It
Ah.
is like I think if you like stomp while you're doing it, it looks far better.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't like seeing it like that every single time. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't 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 kill the messenger. I'm just telling it like it is. Right, Tank? Yeah.
It's the way you like it. There's people who likes it another way, in other ways, in other ways,
But
in
my
other
way's
ways.
better. But my way's better though is the thing. Yeah. Yeah. I just have to get that
No,
in there.
none of your ways are better.
So as we get to the end of the show, we've been going almost 2 hours, guys. I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get to what's coming up next. Tank, if you want to hang with us, we're just going to go to a different screen to talk about the future shows, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So this is what we got coming up here. So the first show, is it going to be forward, Keaton? It looks like it, right?
Yes.
So this is going to be a fun show. Ben Nelson will be joining the Canary Kid. Boy, won't that be interesting? And to see Ace, Kid Kelsey, and myself, the 3 of the 4 NWF champs that held that blue belt. So it's going to be the old champs to meet the new champ. Well, one of the new champs. So this should be a great show, Keaton. What do you think?
Absolutely, for the Canary Kid to meet the old holders of his title belt, of his future title belt, it'll be incredible. But also, them is going back in time and talking about how the legacy of that NWF belt, it'll probably get these guys to fight harder for it. So yeah, it might give Ben Nelson a bit of confidence against the Canary Kid.
Ace, of all of us here, Ace, well, Kelsey and I experienced too, but Ace, his only involvement was 85, and all the title matches were shoots. So Ace doesn't understand a worked match. He just knows that when he had the belt, he had to fight for his life. And so Ace was nicknamed the master of the rope break because he knew if he could last the time limit, he'd keep the belt. And he was in it over his head many, many times. So he just had to survive. It'll be a great conversation. We'll talk about that with him. And then of course, Kelsey thinks he's still the champ because he never technically lost it, but he was stripped of the belt when he no-showed the dry dock. So, sorry, Matt. The history is what it is, Kid Kelsey. So yeah, that'll be a good show. And then what you got coming up, Kayfabe with Keaton. And by the way, that forward show an hour later, as you can see, that's just because of the schedules of Ace and Kelsey. We just got to make it work for them. So Ricky and Ben got to stay up a little later, but they said they can do it. And then Kayfabe with Keaton and the Bias.
Yeah. So
Did I
in Northern
pronounce it
Ireland,
right?
yeah, he did the buys.
Okay, the Bias. Okay.
So in Northern Ireland, the term there's the term the boys in America, but here they call them the buys from another like part of the country. So they're from that side of the country, so they call them the buys, and they say from Upper Road. That's like the way they talk about themselves. So they're 2-time Titanic Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They just lost the belts not too long ago, but yeah, they're the most common tag team in in Titanic Wrestling. They're incredible in the ring. Big Rose, the powerhouse. KMK is kind of like the athletic guy, and they're absolutely incredible in the ring. So I can't wait to be speaking to these guys, and they're one of the most popular wrestlers on Titanic.
Yeah, that should be a great interview, and that's going to be 2 weeks from today. So that'll be our next guest then with Kayfabe with Keaton. So yeah, it should be a great show. So, well, we've went a long time, Keaton, and we
Yes.
already had our banter in the beginning. You heard what I had to say about your fine feathered friend, and the one that disrespects me every other week and calls
Because you
me
disrespected
the
him.
biggest schmuck or whatever he says. And I tell you something, he's got a lot of nerve talking to me like that when he's going to have to face me in person. You better watch his lip, is what all I got to say on that. I'm just
I'm
saying.
not. All I'm saying is that I'd watch myself if I was going near the Canary Kid and speaking to him like this. You maybe think that you're a wee keyboard warrior that can say whatever he wants behind the camera, but it's like when you meet someone in person, you will not say anything to him. You will be scared for your life when you go near the Canary Kid after
It
everything you
sounds
just
like
said.
somebody wants me to go extra rough on them in that kid training class that I have when I get over there. That could be arranged.
Oh no, the Canary Kid won't let that happen. Don't worry about that.
I don't know, guys. I tell you, we're going to have to end this podcast before I blow a gasket here with this young guy. So for Wrestling Revolution, Keaton, we hope you enjoyed the show. Join us in 2 weeks. I'll be back in a week with Ricky and these two guys. It should be great. So just catch us next time we're live, everybody.